Sit. Sit. This is Sadie, and in this video I'm going to show you how I can enforce an invisible boundary. Sadie, she's barky. She doesn't get along great with other dogs. I just think she's a little bit confused. I think she thinks that she is in charge. And so what I want the guardian to do is start practicing acting like a leader for dogs' perspectives by doing things that a leader would do. So enforcing boundaries is certainly something a leader would do. So one of the rules I suggested was we have the dining room table here and this is the kitchen on the other side. So I would say the dog should not be allowed in the kitchen when we're preparing food. And the guardian's like, well, how do I do that? Well, watch this video. So first thing I want to do is I want to train the dog that leaving the area is a rewardable thing. So I'm going to get down so I would be at her level, but normally I would be standing up for this. So I'm going to give you one there for that. So I want to teach her that leaving this area is what I want. So I'm going to create a way to put it in context. So I have a treat here. I throw it right outside, out. When she licks it up, I say the word out. I show her I got another treat. Out. So what I do is I go to every doorway or portal in the house that I want to do this at. Yes, I know. And I'm just realizing I have light behind me, so I'm probably be a little bit backlit. So let me move down here for this one. All right, so basically, and her protesting, she's saying, I didn't give you permission to walk around on your knees in the house. She thinks she's in charge of everything. Sit. Sit. Remember, always, every time you give a treat, the treat should go in the mouth first, or the pet should happen first, then the dog should hear the command word immediately after. Always. Okay, so what I would do is I would go there. The kitchen's behind this wall, so I'd also go over here and throw the treat out twice there. Then go to every other room in the house that I might want to later on ask the dog to leave. Show the dog I have the treat. I usually take our treats, tear them in half, throw one. Dog goes and gets it, say out, comes back, do the second thing. The next step I would do is teach the dog to go into the room. So to do this, I would show the dog I have a treat, and I throw the treat in there. Well, there you go. Dining, because that's the dining room. If I throw it over here, I would say kitchen. If I throw it in this room, I might call it media or living for living room. So you can name your bedroom, den, office. So now you can actually direct the dog. Office, the dog should know at this point to run to the office. So I go around all the rooms in the house, I tear the treat in half, and I have the dog exit each room or area twice. Then I go back and I repeat the circuit, but this time I'm outside the room and I throw the treat into the room and I say the name of the room. I'd like you to do that like once or twice a day for about a week to 2 weeks. After a while, you want to be able to just say out and the dog immediately leaves whatever area or room you're in. And if it doesn't, then keep on practicing. Okay, now I went over my escalating consequences with the guardian, how to disagree with the dog using dog body language. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you how to establish an invisible boundary here. Now right now we have a kitchen with kind of what I call a two-way go. I can go this way, I can go that way. So you want to kind of limit it. This is a bigger area or harder to defend than this area is here. So I'd recommend you go get a puppy playpen at Amazon. It shouldn't cost you more than 30, 40 bucks. It's about 8 panels. They're all connected with hinges, and you could have it tucked back here and you can extend it across this wall so that it prevents the dog from going this way and creates only one route over here. So I'm going to go over here in a second. I'm going to drop some treats on the ground and I'm going to show you how to enforce an invisible boundary. All right, she's probably going to bark because she thinks she's in charge of the world. So I come over here and I have a treat. I'm going to show her that I make it look like I have a treat. So I'm just dropping some treats. So I hissed as my first warning. Second thing I do is I stand up. Third thing I do is I march. So now there's some treats in here. So once I cross this threshold, I'm going to turn. My authority goes whatever direction my belly button is pointing. So I'm here. Now if I turn and walk into the room this way, my authority is pointing there and the dog's going to run right up my butt. So what I do is I come to this threshold with the dog over here. I turn. And I'm going to step backwards one step at a time. Hunter, you're going to have to stand up and walk a couple steps over there to see it. So I'm going to take one step backwards and then I pause. Pausing between each step is almost effectively a way of putting a period at the end of the sentence. And I take another step backwards and I pause. Now, while I'm pausing, if the dog stays there, then we keep going. If the dog tries to come forward, I would rush towards the dog as my way of saying, no, I don't want you to come inside. That's just what I did here. But again, this is too big of an area, and I want you to make it easier. So, all right. So, going back over here. So now there's some treats on the floor. Dog is motivated to want to come in here, but it can't because I haven't given it permission because this is his house or her house. So what we do is I take a step backwards, and the dog can come all the way up to this edge. I'm not going to disagree until the dog's about a foot away. And at that point, if I think it's going to cross the threshold, I'm going to take a sudden step towards it to make the dog back up like it just did there. When the dog is stationary, I take a step backwards. That's on you, Poopy. You got to get out of the way. And I pause between each step to communicate to the dog. I'm not just backing up. I'm saying, I don't want you to go in the kitchen. I do it again, and I pause. Now, I'm going to describe the rest of it from right here. But basically, what I would like you to do is do a warm-up. When we do our jobs, we don't learn to do our jobs on the job. We learn in a classroom, or read by reading a book, or we're an apprentice for someone, or whatever the case may be. We watch somebody else do it to learn how to do it. So for dogs, for some reason, we try to teach them in the actual moment, which is the worst time to learn anything. There's a lot of pressure. So one of the rules is the dogs should not be allowed in the kitchen when we're cooking. So what I would do is, and I'll kind of mimic it a little bit here because she's challenging a little bit, but you see she's probing but stopping. So I'd go over here, I'd open the fridge, I would grab out a piece of bacon, I would microwave the piece of bacon, and I would put the piece of bacon here on the work island. And she's going around, but it's okay, you would normally be walked off. So then the dog's gonna be over here and it's gonna smell like bacon. Then I'm gonna back up one step at a time. I'm gonna start opening the oven, opening the fridge, doing my meal prep. It sure looks like I'm cooking because I'm pretend cooking. Sure smells like I'm cooking because we have bacon or roast beef or whatever it is. But boy, as soon as I try to cross the threshold, the human is on me like white on rice. And so when we're cooking, we're distracted. So we're setting up a stage scenario to help practice or help the dog practice and teach the dog, when we're cooking, you're not allowed to go to the kitchen. I don't care where you go, you're just not allowed in the kitchen. Once we're done cooking, you come and go as you please. But this helps the dog practice some self-restraint and control. Most people never help their dog practice any self-restraint. So when they ask them to not cross the street or not play with the dog or not do this, I don't have any practice doing that. Why would you expect me to do something I've never practiced? So once you get to the point where the dog sits or lies down outside the boundary, then you put your bacon away and you start your actual meal cooking. To the dog, it looks the same, but when you're cooking, you're distracted, so you won't see the dog cross that threshold. Remember, you have 3 seconds to correct or reward your dog for them to have the ability to make a connection, but even then, that's probably not enough. You're gonna have to repeat it. Dogs learn through repetition, consistency, and good timing. Like I said, 3 seconds. You might have to do it 50 times in a row within that 3 seconds before the dog understands it. But eventually the dog will understand, I can't cross that threshold. Now, you want to practice, set up these scenarios, you can do the same thing for dinner. So microwave a piece of roast beef, sit down in your normal spots, and then every time the dog tries to cross the threshold, you're cutting the roast beef up. You're not actually going to eat it, but it looks and smells like you're actually eating. So then once the dog tries to cross the threshold, you hiss or stand up and march. And after a while, the dog's like, man, when they're eating, I'm not allowed to go in the kitchen anymore. Now the dog is practicing listening to you. It's practicing not doing something it wants because we don't want them to do it, which is a great way to create a good, healthy leader-follower dynamic. If your dog doesn't respect you as a leader because it doesn't see you enforcing rules or following through, why would it listen to you? You're not acting like a leader, so you don't have any authority. We talked about like feeding, making sure we eat something before we feed the dogs, because it is the most important thing for dogs. So the more of those sort of things that we do, the more the dog sees and respects us as a leader. And if it respects us, then listening is no longer optional. But if your dog has no rules, then it's easier to appear than listening to you is something I do if I feel like doing. If I don't feel like doing, I'm gonna do what I want because we're the same. I want the dog to understand it's not the same. The humans are up here. They love me very much, but I do not have as much rank or status as they do. So when they tell me to do something, I am obligated to do it. Enforcing a boundary is a wonderful way to help the dog develop self-control, help you practice acting like a leader, and help the dog respect you as that leader. Well, let me come back over here. You want to come over here and get the shot so we can end it? This beautiful long-hair Chihuahua, sit, is Sadie. And these are tips and tricks you can use if you want to enforce an invisible boundary to help your dog develop a little bit of self-control.